Hello everybody. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I have created for you what I believe is going to be my ultimate singed resource. The Minish Cap Singed spreadsheet is here, and I'm ready to share it with you guys. Now, bear in mind, this is an evolving guide. It is going to be continuously updated with the latest information. And there are other resources for champions like this. What I think is going to really set mine apart, though, is because I have just a gigantic amount of content that I will be able to upload a video example for basically everything in this guide to pair alongside the really in-depth information that I have tried to write here. So let me just show you an example here. So for the Conqueror runes, I have video examples. For the phase directions, I have video examples. And then for the matchups, I have started adding video examples as well. There's just so many matchups that I need to go back through my backlog or record new videos for those matchups. But over time, this will all be filled out. There will be the text information, the video information, because different people learn in different ways. But I think that will be like the kind of killer edge for mine. For information to share with you guys. So, starting at the top, let me go and explain this. I have the Minish Cap Singed spreadsheet guide. The proper link will have this sunglasses emoji in the title. So, if there's a few links of this floating around because I shared it beforehand, some pre-release versions, but the proper link will have this sunglass at the top, and I will pin the link as well in the description and the pinned comment for you guys to have. So at the top, I have a links to my Twitch and YouTube, and then I have a link to donate if you guys were helped by this resource or any of my other resources. Any sort of support does help a lot. That being said, let's move on. I have an About Me section. If you've been a viewer of the channels, you will know about this About Me section. And then I have a table of contents. So I'm not an expert on Excel. I'm not an expert on Google Sheets, so I just did this the best that I could in terms of formatting. If you click on table of contents, it will pop up with 4 links, and they're just in descending order: runes, items, builds, matchups. If you click it, it'll take you to that section essentially, and then you can go back to table of contents. So if you want to like scroll the matchups really fast, I just go to the last link, matchups, bam, just like that. And then if I want to, for example, go to builds very quickly, click the third link, bam, builds, just like that. I also recommend setting your zoom limit out a little bit if you're on a smaller monitor or a lower resolution monitor, because this is a very wide spreadsheet. So having the ability to see more of it at once is good, and you can change that with this top left little zoom button right there. Better than changing your browser settings zoom, because your browser settings zoom can change for all of your tabs, whereas that will just be for one tab. Okay. So I have, starting at the top, the runes section. I have the patch thoughts section. Under patch thoughts, I will just be writing my thoughts on the current patch, patch by patch, as I keep this updated over time, which will just be my opinion on the patch and how I think the general method to play Singed is right now. And because Singed is such a versatile champion, different players will have different opinions on the character. It's just going to depend because he's such a versatile character, and he can do so many different things, use so many different resources, so many different items, right? So it will be generally up to the player to decide, but these are my opinions and what I think about the matchups, items, etc., runes, stuff like that. So I listed all of the major runes in green and all of the major keystones in green, the less used keystones in blue. So we have Conqueror, Phase Rush, Unsealed Spellbook as the main keystones, Aftershock Summon Area as the lesser used keystones. But again, because it's Singed, everything can be viable to a certain extent. He's such a versatile champion, right? It just depends on whether or not you can make it work. So I think so my thoughts on shards essentially is to TLDR it, I think most Singed players should just take one of these standard shard setups, which is double AP health scaling or AP double health scaling. And as you get more practice, you can start playing with movement speed shard, tenacity shard, double AP movement tenacity, things like that. Because these setups are harder to play at the bottom, it will require practice, but they do scale harder than the standard shards, in my opinion, for Singed, assuming you can get your items. The downside, is that you'll be squishier than going double AP scaling and your laning phase can be a bit harder than going double AP health scaling, right? So that's why I think practice on the champion is important before you try these shards out, because the extra AP shard makes a big difference in your early game for your trading and wave clear. Okay, so we have Conqueror, and here's some video examples right here that I've already added for Conqueror. I have my current recommended rune setup for Conqueror right there. I have the pros and cons of Conqueror. Obviously, the pros, it is good for laning phase. It is good for damage, good versus tanks. It scales well, but falls off versus range comps. Difficult or useless versus range comps, but it's not bad versus range champs in lane is a thing. In lane, it's okay versus range champions, but in team fights, it can fall off against range comps. You have very little utility or mobility in your runes. It can be hard to stack it up late game, but otherwise, Conqueror, I think, is just the most standard keystone on Singed. You are going to have the best time overall with this setup, because it's just going to be generically useful, since in most elos people are just going to blindly slam a melee champion top lane and then you're good to go. Now there are certain melee champions where it is mandatory to go phase rush, and I will go over those here and also in the matchups section. So phase rush is just your most blind pickable. If Conqueror is your most standard rune, phase rush is your most blind pickable rune, meaning like phase rush you can play into any matchup in the game. It's not always going to be the best, but it'll never be bad, whereas Conqueror is like useless, say if you're against a Teemo or something like that, right? So versus Darius, Olaf, and Nasus, you need to mandatory take phase rush, and the pros are that you have slipperiness, you have proxy power. It is going to be better the later that you go, because you get more movement speed. If you get the boots, feats, and you get your Swifties upgrade, then phase rush gives you a lot of AP while it's active as well. Cons are your early game damage is a bit low, and it takes time for Gathering Storm to actually make a difference. 20-minute Gathering Storm is when it really starts to be noticeable, and 20 minutes can be a long time. I already have a video example for phase rush, but I will add more as time goes on. I have a list of basic phase rush proc combos as well, just to help people activate a bit faster. I can even make that a little bit bigger. No, I can't, not with that table size, but I can also, if I wanted to, just like increase the row size and then make the text bigger. But we'll see how it goes. The formatting may change a little bit over time compared to when you see this, but right now this is the tentative formatting. Spellbook is also the downside is the most difficult rune to master, and you have very low damage early game. However, the scaling is insane because of the utility. Singed uses almost every summoner spell very well, and you can have summoners up every fight, up to multiple summoners every fight. I also might have noticed I have a tips and tricks section for each keystone that will show you a little a small rundown of how to play each keystone in as small of a space as I had to write, but that's what also the video link section here is for on the right, where I will be able to give you a visual example as well as the text example, right? So I wrote a little bit about the best first swaps and when to take what swap, but a lot of Singed is also just playing by feel. So if you feel like you can do something, give it a shot. I mean, it might work on the champion. He's very, very versatile, right? So then I have Aftershock, low mobility, low damage, and it is not as widely useful as other runes, but it is very good for upfront tankiness if you are solo frontline as well. Good versus things like Riven that want to just hard all in you if the rest of the team comp allows you to play Aftershock. And Demolish is really, really nice on Singed because he tends to lack pushing power, and Demolish gives him quite a bit of it. Summon Airy is going to be just your I need to get a kill in lane. Pair it with Ignite generally. Scaling not great, you have a snowball, but it is for your 1v1 in the early game, your highest damage setup. So moving on to items, I'm not going to go over every single item, but my general thoughts on items are just like Legendaries is your only true core item. Everything else is situational. Everything else is situational. And even then, you might not always rush Legendaries' first item just because of how weird Singed can be sometimes with its itemization. But that being said, like eventually at some point, usually item 1 or 2, almost always item 1, but you can buy item 2 as well. You should get a Legendaries because it's your wave clear item, it's your DPS item, it is everything. Without Legendaries, Singed is just so much less of a threat. With it, that is your only true core item in my opinion. Starting items, Doran's Ring versus Darkseal versus Boots versus Doran's Shield. I should also probably add Cull in here, and I will add Cull because I think Cull is actually quite good. You just have a hard time buying it at the start of the game, but you can absolutely buy it on first recall and farm it up very quickly, which can be quite good in certain farming matchups. Like say you're against like an Ornn or something like that. Orange Scion, yes, slam call on your first recall. You're going to stack it up for sure because you can farm really hard on Singe and get big value out of your call. But yeah, the most standard starting item setup is a Doran's Ring 2 potion into most melee champions. I like Darksteel refill potion versus range matchups because you get more of an eco start. You can start boots if you are an absolute psychopath like me. But I kind of messed that one up. Let me just go ahead and undo that. You can start boots if you're an absolute psychopath like me. If you're a very experienced Singe player, you will save a lot of money. You will save 300 gold on your boot start, 150 on your refill potion for a very strong economy start. It is hard though because you lack combat stats, and in top lane combat stats are very important. So you need practice on Singe before you play that. Doran's Shield. I never play Doran's Shield. The only matchup where I think this item could be useful is Darius because you have to be pushed in. Otherwise, you never ever want this item because you don't want to be pushed in. It's like versus a ranged champion. I'd rather see you just skip the wave and have ability power and other defensive stats like armor or MR than to go Doran's Shield because you are just going to lose so many last under your tower. It's not worth it to have Doran's Shield in my opinion on Singe on this champion. With the exception of Darius, I like it versus Darius. Otherwise, no. Alright, like I said, Legendaries is your only core item. I also have a bit of a explainer up here. These two yellow boxes are going to be very concise information about my itemization opinions. The generic item order when you don't know what to buy is going to be Legendaries into Rylai's item 1 or 2. Legendaries item 1 or 2, Rylai's item 1 or 2, depending on whether you need damage from Legendaries or CC from Rylai's. Then you go Dead Man's 3, Bloodletter 4, Deathcap 5. You can buy tier 2 boots by either rushing them first or finishing them after item 1 is complete. Besides Legendaries, most items are situational and I vary them often. The only true credit item is Legendaries and the other is situational. And then on the other box, I just wrote about how when you should buy tank items versus not. Essentially what this says is if your team has a lot of damage, it's okay to buy tank items. If your team has low damage, then you really probably should build more ability power. But there is a balance, and I trust you to be able to use your judgment to know what that balance is. And if not, read the spreadsheet. You'll learn. That's what it's there for. All right, boots. Swiftness boots are generically the best boots, but situationally, Merc Treads, Tabby, Steel Caps, Baron boots, and even Sork shoes are playable. I almost never buy Sork shoes, but every one of these boots is in some situations playable, and the boxes will go over that with you. All right, so item-wise, I have most of the AP items in this column right here, and I have most of the defensive items in this column right here. Dead Man's Plate is your general standard armor item because it gives you good stats. Zhonya's will scale better, especially starting at 16. But DMP, if you have like a heavy AD and enemy team comp, you can buy a DMP item number 2, sometimes even item number 1. And it's good against them. Not much more to say there. Rylai's is good on Singed. He's a good Rylai's user. It does not give you a lot of damage. But you can play it if the enemy team has a lot of divers that are going to rush your backline, or if you are just going to be playing frontline for your team, it's still good. It's good to peel champions like Nasus and Darius off of your backline. It's good to trap enemy ADCs and enchanters that have low mobility inside of poison as well for providing your team CC. Generally, if your team has low crowd control, Rylai's is good. If your team has crowd control, you can skip it. I tend to skip it in most games personally because I like to have high damage. I like to carry through damage. But if you just pay attention to your team comp and you think about what item is good for you in a situation, just, you know, do a little bit of extrapolation, you'll be good to go, I promise. Bloodletter's Curse, the best anti-MR item for Singe. Not much more to say, other than if you are solo AP threat on your team, nobody else has meaningful magic damage, then Crypt Bloom or Void Staff are better, because the biggest benefit of Bloodletter is that it shreds MR, meaning it helps your team, whereas Crypt Bloom and well, Crypt Bloom also helps your team with the heal, but Void Staff is very selfish, and if you're solo AP, Void Staff is generally better. If they buy MR. If not, because you're solo AP, then don't worry about it. Crypt Bloom is amazing on Singe as well, though. Deathcap. I absolutely love Deathcap on Singe right now, just because so many other items have gotten nerfed in terms of ability power for this champion. So having Deathcap and the ability to pump your damage item 2, 3, or 4, or even 5, I think Deathcap is excellent on Singe currently. The hard part is it doesn't give you any HP, so it's easier to buy it the later in the game that you go. But You can spike very, very hard this on item number 2 if you are fed, so just consider it. But it is hard to play the earlier that you buy it because of low HP. I think it's very important right now to have this item or some form of this like needlessly large rod in your inventory at some point this season, because the AP is just so nerfed on everything. But yeah, good item. Riftmaker, fake ass item, don't buy it. Buy Deathcap instead. If you ever think you can buy Riftmaker, consider Deathcap instead. Sometimes you can buy both if you're giga-fed, but otherwise I generally don't buy Riftmaker anymore if I can buy Deathcap instead. It's just going to give you more damage. Riftmaker was nerfed from 12% to 8% damage amp, and a lot of the value of this item is in the Omnivamp. It's just not as good on Singed as people think it is. In my opinion, genuinely, this item is just... It's like luxury, but it's like more than luxury, because Deathcap just does what Riftmaker does, but does it better, in my opinion. Only benefit is you get health and ability haste, but you're not buying Riftmaker for health and ability haste. If you were buying a health and ability haste item, you would just buy Cosmic Drive. Like, so for damage purposes, Deathcap is just better. Zhonya's. So, the best defensive item versus champions like Vayne, Camille, Fiora, or versus huge lockdown like Camille, Jarvan, Thresh, ult, etc. Because you can go invulnerable, and your AP that you get from this item is very huge for your poison, so it's 105 AP. And when you are inside of your Zhonya's, you can proc Triumph and get heals as well. You can bait the enemy team massively into your poison trail to clump up on you for a kill, then pop Zhonya's, and all of a sudden they're free targets for your team. And yeah, it can just make a huge difference in your games. The earlier the game is, the better Deadman's will be generally. The later the game goes, Zhonya's is better. So it depends on when you buy your armor item. Because your level 16 ult gives you a lot of movement speed, the later that you go, it's easier to buy Zhonya's because you have movement speed from your R. Cosmic Drive. I love this item on Singed. It is amazing on Singed. Sometimes you can buy it first if you are having trouble in your matchup, because you can just spam your R button and like unga bunga push through lanes with it. The movement speed is awesome on Singed. The ability haste is great for ultimate. It is going to be lower damage than Legendaries early and lower CC than Rylai's early, but it is going to be able to give you lots of ultimates to get through a weird matchup. It is actually my recommended first item versus Olaf specifically, but you can play it against any matchup if you think that you can get your item number 2 Legendaries comfortably, and you think that you're gonna have a hard enough time where you need a lot of ults in that matchup. Rocket Belt, it's decent. I don't tend to buy this item that much, but it's good on Singed. If you like it, slam it. It's gonna be lower damage than having a Legendaries, and lower overall utility than having Cosmic Drive, in my opinion, but it's good to pop spell shields. It's good to reset your auto, gives you a Conqueror stack, gives you a Phase Rush stack. It's not bad, and it gives you a lot of ability haste for the cost. 2.65 for 20 ability haste, whereas Cosmic gives you 25 for 3k. It's an option. Yeah, it's an option. Crypt Bloom, I just talked about this earlier, but just buy this or Void Staff instead of Bloodletter if you're a solo AP threat. Crypt Bloom is amazing on Singed because you just get a lot of assists, so proc the heal very often. Void Staff, you buy this same shit, except you just, they have a lot of MR for some reason, but you're solo AP, which would be a weird situation, so that's why you won't buy this that often. But if that does happen, you can buy it. It's good. Banshees is very, very underrated on Singed, in my opinion. The component, the Verdant Barrier, 1.6k gold for the spell shield, is insanely overpowered. You can actually rush that component in certain matchups, and have it be quite good. Also, there's going to be a lot of Negatron rushing or Chain Vest rushing, I suggest, in these matchups, because a lot of these matchups are getting a little bit damage crept again as time goes on. But Banshees is very underrated on Singed. It's actually going to be the highest damage MR option over Abyssal Mask. But Abyssal is playable as well, and I talk about that in the tank item section as well. But I love Banshees on Singed. The hard part with any non-HP item is just making sure you have enough HP for the game in general. But if you can check all those boxes, Banshees is great. Tank items, so I remember Deadman's Plate. Jack Show is just good in mid-late game in terms of pure defensive power, but you don't get any damage. It's pretty expensive, so 3.2k for a tank item is asking a lot in my opinion. And you can get bursted. I'm actually going to add this part. So the majority of this item's power is inside, or is locked behind getting it fully charged up and getting the bonus resistances. So you are still vulnerable at the start of a fight to getting bursted, since you don't have a reliable method to charge this at the start of a fight. Or before the start of a fight. The exception to this is if you have Legendaries plus Rocket Belt, you can use Legendaries from Rocket Belt to start charging this up before you go in. See, how nice is it to have a spreadsheet guide where I can just add extra information that I forgot about? Isn't that awesome? Despair, great for Conqueror Singed, playable on other Singed, but better on Conqueror Singed because it gives you heal mix resist. It's cheaper mix resist option than Dragshow, so I do like Unending Despair quite a bit. Whipple also enjoys Unending Despair. Force of Nature, you can sack with DMP if you want. It's really good versus magic damage in general, and you'll be very fast if you sack with DMP. However, remember that if you buy 2 tank item on Singed, your damage gets cut really hard. Randuins, please only buy Randuins if they have crit damage champions. Otherwise, don't buy this. It's going to be better for you to buy Zhonya's or Deadman's Plate or Frozen Heart. Unless they have hella crit, then buy Randuins. Locket is just broken. It's just broken straight up. It's one of the most broken items in the game. It is really cheap, so as the game goes longer, you'll have to sell it for a more slot efficient item. But if you are in if you're in a game where having early mixed resistance is going to be helpful to you, Locket is good. If you're in a lane where having early mixed resist is going to be good for you, Gnar, Yone, they both do physical and magical. Locket is potentially a great option for you. Consider it. But sell it the longer the game goes, sell it, because it is cheap and you can have a more strong item on the slot if you have enough gold for it. Frozen Heart, just if they have a lot of AD and you need to have a lot of armor. Yeah, really good against AD. Auto attackers that don't like lethality based auto attackers. Good for the huge flat armor. Just yeah, I mean Zhonya's is generally what I prefer, but Frozen Heart is definitely playable if you want that. Abyssal Mask, a little bit overrated on Singed in my opinion, because the percent damage amplification that you get is only good if you already have a lot of base damage, because if you're buying a tank item, you're not going to have the AP to scale up to make this as useful. It is good, don't get me wrong, it is good. I just generally think that Banshees or Force of Nature are going to be a bit better for you on Singed, but if you have the damage output to make Abyssal Mask good, it's good. It does help your team as well. If your teammates have a lot of damage, like say you have like an Echo on your team and your Echo is very fed and you're going in together, Abyssal is great for him because it amps him up. It's just on Singed because all of our damage is locked behind scaling for Q and very little base damage. Percent amps are not as good as you think, essentially. The same reason why Riftmaker is not as good, same reason why Abyssal Mask is not as good. But it's still good on Singed, don't get me wrong, it's still good. Just consider other options as well. Warmogs, if you just need a fuck ton of HP and they have split pushers, great. If you're getting poked a lot, great. Just make sure that you buy either a Zhonya's or a Banshees to get your other defensive item and still scale your HP. Otherwise, if you buy too much HP and not enough damage, you will be having a bad time. So don't run over boots. Let's go down to Summoner Spells. So, Summoner Spells in general, the most standard Singed Summoner spell setup is Ghost and Flash. It is going to be the safest early game. It is the highest agency in those late game fights to flash fling the enemy carry. However, if you fall behind, you can get absolutely screwed because you don't have teleport to reset your lane. You can be in a very, very bad spot very easily. That being said, it is very unlikely that when you're learning Singed and lower elos, the enemy laner is good enough to actually do that to you. But the higher you go, just consider you may have to swap a little bit. Consider TP, right? Because laners get really, really good, and Singed laning phase is not known for being amazing, right? So, that being said, it is the most standard summoner spell setup. If you're playing anywhere below Master GM, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. And you'll probably have the most fun playing that setup too. One second, water break. Sorry if I'm speaking too quickly. I'm trying to get through this in a reasonable amount of time, not keep you guys all day. Okay. Second setup, TP plus Ghost or TP plus Flash. TP is great to reset your lane early game. You are going to be a little bit more vulnerable in the early game to ganks because you have lower mobility in your summoner spells. Only have 1 mobility summoner. But when your ghost or flash is up, you can play more aggressively in fights, try to dive for backline. When they're not up, it's harder to dive backline. But in the mid to early late game, teleport is amazing because you're able to pressure from side lanes and achieve your team fight still. And early game, it's good to reset your lane if you're in a bad spot, need a reset, need sustain. You can even put a ward behind enemy turret and TP to the ward, right? The hard part is that you only have 1 mobility summoner, but the strong part is you have a more stable side lane and don't need to worry about being able to join your team, right? It is a macro-oriented setup, and Singe is a champion that can power clear waves very quickly and get items very fast in the mid-late game because of how fast he can clear waves. And so being able to utilize that, and if you have a death cap threatened with split push, is very useful in my opinion. All right, last summoner spell setup is Ignite plus Flash or Ghost. Generally only take Ignite when it's mandatory, trying to get kills early game versus a champion who will outscale you like Kale. That's the main example where I'd recommend Ignite. You can play it with Conqueror or Summon Airy, because those will also be kills in lane. There are many players on Singe who run Ignite every game, and they do succeed with it. But for me as a player, and for what I feel comfortable recommending to you, I think you'd be better off with one of these 2 other summoner spell setups. But if you need to try and get kills early, and you need to snowball, Ignite is playable on Singe. And he's actually quite good at getting level 2 or level 3 kills with this setup. All right, builds. This section I will just have. This will probably be added onto to the right as well as time goes on. But I just have some builds for if you don't know what to buy. Just build the standard build. If your team has really good tankiness but low damage, AP heavy build is better. And I also just like to play AP heavy build in general because I think it's just more fun. And then the move speed / SHTF, maybe / crackhead build is what I like to build when my team doesn't have engage, or if I am just behind the lane's going poorly, I can just spam movement speed to try and make plays while being behind. Yeah, crackhead Singe is fun. Give it a try. All right, and here is the matchups section. So I will, if you guys notice, I have a video examples tab on the very far right, or column, and this will be full of video examples of each matchup. As time goes on, I will fill this out, and I have a bunch of videos where I could also just add more to it. So even by the time you watch this video, there might be more of these on here. Like I have one for Aatrox, Kennen, Mordekaiser, Nocturne, Poppy. There's one for Jax as well, I think, somewhere in here. But my goal eventually is to have a video example for every single matchup that is listed here, and even ones that are not listed here as I add more and more, because people do pick weird shit sometimes in top lane. So like you get like your Varus top lane, you get like your, I've seen Soraka top lane, like things like that. The color coding the color coding may be subject to change because some people were talking about color blindness in the comments of my Twitch chat when I show this on Twitch chat. But the color coding, basically, blue, easy ass matchup. Yellow is a medium difficulty matchup. Hard matchups are in orange. The purple matchups are just a skill matchup where it can go even, it can go either way. And then farming matchups where you just farm. These are ones where I recommend you take Cull, by the way, are in green. Sorry, purple is skill matchup, green is farming matchups. And the ones where I'd recommend you just need to absolutely dodge are in red. So let's go over the ones that are mandatory dodge, in my opinion. Heimerdinger, mandatory dodge. It's not worth the time to play this matchup. Dodge that shit. If you need to play it, I have some tips for you, but dodge it. Urgot, absolutely 100% a permanent auto ban. This is my perma ban currently because he is very common in NA Master Plus. He is the most common in NA Master Plus, actually, out of any region in any elo bracket, because there are a lot of Urgot 1 tricks in NA high elo. Enemy team dodges so often because I'm banning this character. Urgot top lane Master Plus has triple the pick rate of any other Master Plus region in the world, which is insane. But yeah, this is my current perma ban. You cannot do a single thing in this matchup versus a competent Urgot player. He can cancel your fling. He can burst you down. He can win a long fight. He's resistant to ganks because he has a dash, he has a shield. He's tanky as well. He has huge sustain by buying Cull. Like, it's so stupid. This character, I have no idea how it's not nerfed by Riot yet. He probably has the Epstein files, and Urgot has the Epstein files, and he's threatening to show that Riot is on it. I don't know how he's not nerfed yet. But just, this is my permaban. Consider permabanning it. If you are playing like Diamond Plus, he gets more common. That being said, if he's not common where you're playing, then don't worry about it too much, because some servers just don't have Urgot players. But man, this character is absolutely batshit in my opinion. Like, that's my permaban currently. I could probably even add, like, right here, I could probably add like a section where I go over like the elo that you're at and like put recommended bans in. So here, let's even like see if I can now I'll do that after the video, but maybe here maybe here on the right side you'll see a table of like recommended bans for your elo. Generally what I'd recommend is, if you are in lower elo, Nasus, Yorick are good bans because they just kind of skill for free in lower elos and split push for free in lower elos. Medium elos, medium and high elo, you start to have a few different champions that you can ban. Like Fiora is good for medium elo ban. I think high elo you can consider range champion bans like Jace, Urgot, Teemo, things like that, where a lot of one tricks will thrive in like those hyper high elos, right? So something to consider. And if there's just a matchup that you don't like playing against, just ban it, right? Maybe you're a Singed player who actually is good at playing against Teemo or Kennen, right? And you don't want to play against like an Mbessa. You can ban like Mbessa if you want, that's fine. So it's a lot of it's up to your feeling as well. And then I also have a notes section above the matchup section where I talk about just what I did here in the matchup section. Singed tends to get outscaled in pure 1v1. However, this is contingent on whether or not you have a death cap. If you have a death cap, you can blast people 1v1 in my opinion. Other than that, you do tend to get outscaled pure 1v1 in side lane against dedicated fighters, but in 5v5, you will outscale almost every other top laner, in my opinion, assuming that you're not behind and your team is not hard inting. You are amazing at team fighting on Singed. In general, you either rush full tier 2 boots or your first item. Tier 2 boots rush is never bad, especially Swifties, but you lack wave for rushing them. However, versus ranged champions, move speed is important, so you get harassed less and can get in range a bit more. You can also, in a lot of these matchups, if I think it's relevant, I added that you can rush a defensive component like Chain Vest or Negatron Cloak, Merc Treads, Tabby, things like that, if I think it's important for the matchup. For example, a Kali matchup, rush Negatron Cloak if you need to survive and scale, because she can do a lot of damage in lane. If you have Negatron, it's a lot more playable. Without it, if you don't rush Negatron, this matchup would probably be a hard matchup in my opinion, because a Kali can be a bit of a demon against you in our laning phase. But yeah, the matchup section is written with the idea in mind that you follow the tip section, but because it is Singed, you can kind of just do a lot of whatever you want on the character, and you can maybe make it work. So a lot of skill matchups, a lot of even matchups on Singed as well that you might not expect. Like, people would probably assume that Fiora is a hard matchup, but Fiora, in my opinion, is actually a skill matchup because you can outplay each other, and the higher AP that you get, the easier it is for you to kill her. Vice versa, the higher lifesteal she gets, the harder it is for you to kill her, right? So yeah. Also, oddly enough, someone on stream yesterday was like, I can't believe you put Gwen as an easy matchup. Yeah, because you just focus on dodging the Q and the R, man. You just get AP, you scale up, and eventually you can even 1v1 her. So yeah, I don't think Gwen is that hard of a matchup. So what else to go over? I don't think there's much else to go over here, so I might throw a video on the end of this video as well, just to give you guys something to watch afterwards, or I might just upload it by itself. But that being said, guys, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the spreadsheet guide. It's finally here. And again, feel free to leave any sort of support that you can. This was a lot of work making this. It took me quite a while. Also, shout out to Kuba. I did steal the formatting from Kuba, but the information in this spreadsheet is all my personal information. I just thought that Kuba had a very amazing layout for the spreadsheet that Kuba made. So this is like just a similar layout, not the exact same, similar layout, but with my thoughts instead. So thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate you. I will catch you in the next one. Mwah, hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, guys. All right, guys, let's pretend for a moment that you are in a game like this. I have a Shen matchup. How would I use the spreadsheet to my advantage here? Well, I would first go into the spreadsheet itself. I would look up Shen on the matchup section. So that recommended TP Ghost, Conqueror, Doran's Ring 2 potions, and the tips and tricks section essentially says that Shen will outtrade Singed for most of the laning phase, and he has good push once he hits his item spike. However, if you focus on pushing, try and trap him in lane with your W so he can't ult out, or sometimes just let him ult out so you can grab turret plates. He will be unable to hurt you that much while you focus on your macro and scale for 5v5. Most dangerous in the early game, rush Legendaries. So that is exactly what I will do in this game. All right, so we got the Shen matchup. I'm going to follow my guide exactly. Playing on this account is about 480 LP right now, and we will just follow the guide exactly. So Shen is going to put his Keyblade level 1 further up in the lane. This Shen actually does have teleport instead of ignite. Sometimes they will go ignite, and if they do, all that means is that you follow the same pattern, because you're not gonna be lane dominant against Shen, but you have pushing power supremely in this matchup, and so you can let him TP away if you think you can get turret plates for it and just hard attack the turret, or if you want to try and just trap him under his turret so he can't TP out, then let him dead as well. So what you need to do basically is just kind of be on the same level of awareness as Shen is. If he's TPing to a favorable fight for his team, do not let him go. If he is TPing to a fight that is not favorable for his team to try and save the fight, let him go, because he'll probably die too, actually. If the fight is not favorable for them, then you just take hella turret plates, right? So use your best judgment. It is going to be a push and proxy style matchup. We do rush Legendaries in this matchup, like the spreadsheet says, just because it gives you the best early game push, besides being a death cap. But I don't know if you want to get death cap versus Shen. He just can one-shot you from full HP if you do that, so it is fun though if you want to try it against certain matchups. I don't know if Shen's one of them, but it would give you amazing pushing power against him. So then we go for the crash into the proxy. Now we're on wave 4, so I should have enough health for wave 4 proxy here. Just trying to spread poison a bit, cut it out. And I can grab this with fling. Execute. Now I have a 630 gold base to build off of. I could go Cull here. If I really wanted to, I could easily buy a Cull here and make it work. Ability power will be the most helpful for just pushing power. Boots is good as well if I want to go for boots refill or AP refill, right? Because I know I'm rushing Legendaries. I see him trying to freeze the lane. I'm going to TP back in to prevent this freeze up. He lost half his HP trying to freeze that lane, and he didn't get to freeze it, so we can punish that now a bit. And his cannons under turret. You have to watch out to not get taunted under turret here. That's why I'm not walking for that melee minion over there. I could have flung it, but in a situation like this where the wave is fully crashed under his turret, I could just wait, or I could look for proxy here as well and just get behind the turret immediately. I don't think I'm going to solo kill him if I let him push up with the turret bounce, so what we're going to do is just let the minions slowly die. I'll lose 2 minions, that's fine, just look for my proxy. But you could also just play it normally and let him push towards your turret and see if you can get turret flings, etc. Both are okay here. If I think he's going to try and freeze again, I'll walk over here. The power of Singe a lot of the time in early game when you cannot kill your enemy laner is just being able to pressure behind turret like this and force them to either tank waves and use resources, or to pull it under their turret and chunk their turret while they have to last hit with the disadvantage of lasting under a turret, right? So I see Zach here. I am able to probably escape this if I want to. Yeah, I think I'm gonna dodge the dodge the ton as well. I mean, come on guys, come on now, like what is this? What are you guys doing? What is all that, bro? I will even steal your... Oh, I might have gone too hard there. That's my bad. That's my bad. I went a little too hard there, but... Wait, Zed actually just stole the Krugs, though. That might be worth it, then. Because I got the wave beforehand, so... Not ideal, but yeah, Faded Ashes is very good here, because it'll give me more pushing power versus Shen, which is what we want, right? If Shen ults away, we just attack his turret. If not, then we just keep scaling. If my team was behind this game, I would probably opt for a higher AP item number 2, such as Death Cap, to try and just hard side lane, because on Death Cap 2 with laners, you can sometimes only one Shen. It's actually pretty hard, because if he rushes MR, then you can't. But if he rushes Titanic, then you can. 1v1 him. Okay, just dodge the taunt and get the fling. I did a lot of damage to him there. He actually has not recalled yet, and so at this stage, I can trap him under turret. Because if I do that, with him not having recalled, it's hard for him to TP. He could TP bot here, right? Just to put his shield on his teammate, and he didn't. Because I can immediately stop him, or let him go and attack his turret, right? And even if he TPs out, he doesn't have a recall yet, because we've been pushing and we've been trapping him in lane, essentially. We're using the wave clear advantage of Singed over Shen, instead of using, like, a straight up 1v1, because it's kind of hard to 1v1 him. I'm pretty sure that he used his taunt, so we just looked past. It's a pretty long cooldown. I'll look for play. Oh, okay, I guess not. I could have sworn that it was down, because I think it's like a 20-second cooldown level 1, but he might be maxing it too. Sometimes they just max it. 18-second cooldown level 1. Interesting. Very interesting. Unstoppable. Alright, so I will continue buying towards the Legendaries. I can go ahead and buy boots here as well. The nice part about this is that even if Shen, again, ults out, he's just hasn't bought anything yet. So he is very, very punished for his level 6 and level 7 potential ults that he couldn't use because he was just not able to. Now his TP is down, so now if he ults away, we almost certainly let him go to just attack turret plates if he does choose to ult away. Okay, he actually went for Call and TMS. Maybe I should have bought a Call. But he bought a very late Call. 7-minute Call is not great. That's like a first recall type deal if you want to buy that, in my opinion. So I'm not too stressed about it. There's actually a Zac here. If they attack me, I think I'm okay. I don't know how I took damage from him without him landing the E, because I thought if he lands the E, I get knocked up. That was weird.
An enemy has been slain.
Because he actually got a Conqueror stack like, I'm just stalling his dash here. I don't think I want to fight this. I don't have ult up. Oh well. Zed's pinging, so I guess I'll help him. I have ult in 6. My Zed is 1 HP. I guess I fight? Okay, Zed, no worries. We can go for grubs as well. I think Zac just tries to stop us, but... yeah, there it is. Okay, we steal a grub. They focus Zed. He's gonna die. We can get a grub, though, but... I'm gonna leave. So now we know that Shen's ult is actually down. And they are farming grubs, so I just look for minion wave here. If I was afraid of Shen coming back in the lane, I would back off immediately, and just TP, but I know that he is... at grub, so here he is, just execute it. He came back sooner than I thought he would, but no worries, execute. He doesn't get anything for that. And I do have TP to reset my lane as well afterwards, so you can see his wave clear with Tiamat is quite good. I have the option there to potentially match Cull for Cull. I'm not going to do it because it is so late. I'm also going to mute Zed's pings. Also going to mute Zed's pings because I didn't like that grub call, and I've started muting people's pings and I think their calls are bad. No offense, nothing personal, but... it resets between games, so... okay, I can potentially fight this guy. I don't have my ultimate, but it's maybe killable. When I walk in a knife, though, I have to dodge the knife, I think, if I want to kill him. Yeah, if I dodged that knife and had a little bit more HP, I'd probably ghost on him there. And he's potentially killable in a turret as well. I just don't have enough health to tank 2 turret shots. I have to tank 2 turret shots there, unfortunately. If I dodge the E forward, it's potentially a fling angle for another big chunk, though. But until that E is down, I cannot block the turret, so... guess what we're gonna do? Yeah, we're gonna look for proxy. That's right, you got it. That is right, boys. We look for the Cull. The Cully Cull. Or sorry, the proxy. I was looking at his Cull stacks, so I set Cull. On my way. Okay, here we're just watching to see if he's recalling or not. I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure he's just gonna stay because I want to give me the turret plate. But I can sit near the turret as well. I believe outside of his flinger or his E range, and get the plate here. Nope, it is 29 health left, so we'll just proxy this. I can pop my ult if I need to. The cannon wave will definitely get the plate for me here. My team is currently winning, so we're just kind of chilling. Normally I would not upload a game like this because my team is stomping, but excuse me. For the purpose of the spreadsheet, I think it'll be very helpful to you guys to have this example. Alright, so now I just look for the plate here. Just sit right here. Yep, there's the plate. Not keep proxying. We're just getting nice and fat off of farming. And this is why in a farming matchup, like, Cole can be very good. And that's why I'm going to add it to the spreadsheet either today or tomorrow when I have a little bit more time to write like my full thoughts on Cole. I cannot believe that minions survive. How does all the other minions die, but that one lives? It's a server tick rate issue. That's the problem. Server tick rate. Super annoying. Zach is here. I'll just go ahead and leave. He wasn't showing top for a while, so I thought he was chain ganking bot for a bit. He finally shows back up for his Krug, so we just leave. I can look for the plant down here. That is not a fucking actual plant. That is a flower. I need a normal plant. Unlucky. Now they know that I'm low HP. But it's possible that Shen recalled because I left lane. He might be in that bush as well, so I'm going to go ahead and W the bush. In case he gets any funny ideas of jumping out, so... Oh, we are out of there. So if Shen bought Cole on his first recall, he would have had it fully stacked up by now. Which Cole is just... You pay 450 gold. It sells for 180. Sorry, you pay 450 gold. You gain 1 gold per stack. And then whenever you fully activate it, it gives you 350 gold. Meaning that you pay 450 and you get back 450 from the item itself. However, when you sell it, it sells for 180s. My cannon, bro. When you sell it, it sells for 180, so you're essentially buying Cole for 180 gold profit, is the idea of the item in a free farm lane, kind of like this, so. And sometimes it's just like a might as well buy it situation, you know?
An ally has been slain. Killing spree.
Because you're making that profit, right?
Double kill.
So, Shen ulted bottom, we just attack turret now. I was not in a position to stop him anyways, so we just hit. Shen actually died as well. I think his teleport is up, so I may not be able to take the full turret, but if I ult, it's possible, I think, here to take the full turret. So you have to consider whether or not you should ult for turrets as well. I'm not doing anything else with the ability, so like it's very viable as ult here. I would have my ultimate back up before Herald or Dragon spawn, so maybe I should just do it. Maybe a bit more proactive. I would save time, so it's good to do here potentially, but I do also have a grub, so I can just kind of push, you know? It depends on your feel. Yeah, I should have actually ulted this. I would have gotten it, so. Hindsight is 2020, though.
Will soon fall.
Yep, there's this DB. I could have absolutely gotten that turret. That's my bad. See, I made a mistake here. I should add to the section. Hey, maybe consider ulting for his turret if he leaves, you know? Really? TF on me? Okay. Oh, it's Silas. I didn't know that was Silas. I haven't seen him yet this game. Okay, they actually still have vision of me, so I'm gonna keep walking this way. Maybe I just go back for more of a proxy here, though. But why would this guy still be here? I mean, I think the Silas is gonna die, actually. He's just kind of walking at me. He might be tilted. Wait, there's a Thresh here too, bro. Get me out. What is this? Execute, execute, execute. No way. I mean, they're furious. I mean, they're so pissed off. Like, that's crazy what I just did. 4 top. I get a kill. Get a wave. Or half a wave, sorry. Execute. Insane. Insanity. Just insanity.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain.
Alright, so here in terms of items, I think we just either go for Death Cap or Rivalize. I mean, you can go with anything versus team comp like that. Deadman's not bad either if I want to just be tanky for the squad. Provide a bit of frontline. My team has no frontline besides me, so it's not bad to go Deadman's here. Get some HP. This Shen is pretty much cooked here. Just stack up the Conqueror. He is... Jesus, the damage, bro. Okay, nice. My attack speed support Twisted Fate, I think, might have dealt more damage than I did there, but that's fine. Now I can go for the turret, or the turret kill. On my way. So we stuck to the game plan. We try to not 1v1 him because we kind of can't. He has so much damage in lane compared to Singed. And this guy is here, so I might be dead. Alright, that's my bad. I'm looking at their map like, why would you be there? Because their mid is pushed to tier 2, their bot is pushed to tier 3, his raptors are up, Krugs are down. Why would you be there? My bad, I guess. Hey, my fault. I can go for Dead Man's here, I could go for Force of Nature, it's not terrible against Zac either. Probably Dead Man's for Philios, though. Zac did use ult on me, so for him going top, we do get tier 2 mid, because he could have gone mid and looked for my team and gotten killed potentially, but now he has no ult, so... Imagine he dies for this. Oh, there's a Shen ult. Wait, so he took the Lantern even though Shen was going to taunt for him.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Okay. For now, I will also have the option of stacking double move speed components because we are just really far ahead and my team also needs an engage. So I don't mind being that person as well. I can do both. I can be frontline and engage here for my team. That is the nice part about being on such a versatile champion like Singed. You can buy a lot of different items to fill certain roles. The hard part is sometimes you feel like you want to fill one role a little bit more, and you kind of can't. Singe's main role, which is Disruption, Area of Effect, Damage, and Team Fights, 5v5, is still good no matter what you buy, really, but... it just depends. I think overall it is a strength of the champion, though, to be able to build a lot of different stuff. And my team is just, they're just succeeding here. Right, we followed the game plan, we trapped enemy top laner according to the tips. Shen never got a good ult off this entire game because of my pressure. We were able to get dragons, we were able to get turrets. Bling this, yeah, that is the, that looked like a lot of fun for Philios, I'm not gonna lie. When your team pops the heal for a gap closer, that's how you know. You're probably in a bad spot this game. If the 27-9 scoreline didn't indicate anything, you know. Okay. Here's Thresh, just gonna back off immediately. I'm not walking up too far because Shen can look for the taunt. He actually looks at the taunt on me and Kaisa. He gets greedy instead of taunting one of us, and Thresh dies for it. But if he just tried to get one of us there, it would have been a lot better for him. Okay, I go mid here. Never mind, Zac is here, I leave. Shunk that guy, though. He has no MR. Just junk him. Rip the boys. Okay, time for me to go. Oh my. Yeah, GL. I'm gonna grab this bot wave as it comes down. And they FF! Alright, guys. That being said, we followed the game plan. Game was good. And hope you guys enjoy the spreadsheet. Mwah, mwah. Have a good day. Thank you for watching. Peace, guys.